years. For me, I think it's about 20 years that brought me to this point. Not giving anything away about my age. I'm, of course, 18.
Yes, you are, sister. Yeah, myself as well. It's been a journey since 2004. You always were the front runner, like, come, Gerrit, come do this, come do that. Like, sometimes you go, okay. Coming from a very religious background, when we first started, it's like the deep south in Johannesburg, South Africa, where when I started, first went to reflexology.
First tell us how did you end up going to the reflexology?
Well, this one actually my mum, our mum. So yeah, she had headaches for 30 years nonstop, and eventually I went, okay, maybe we should try something new with something different, because it was quite an interesting day. So myself and my mum decided to go together, and I pushed her in front to say, "You go first, Mom."
Nothing you normally do, nothing.
Well, she survived, and it really started to work for her. And then, well, I went to the station afterwards, and I felt so relaxed and so different. And so, yeah, it was just, could feel all my meridians working again. And I like,
at that stage, you didn't even know what your meridians were.
Yeah, it's like, now reflexology then started opening my eyes to, yeah, the world,
to the different ways of doing things. Yeah. So I had some profuse night sweating as a young adult, like crazy amounts of night sweating. I think the reason I had the sweats was to get me to the place that I needed to go, but it was to push me to go and find different ways of helping myself. And I ended up
to do that, push you in a direction if you don't listen.
Push, shove, kick. The universe
go now.
So I ended up going to this kinesiologist, and after the one session we had, I had no more night sweats, and it blew my mind, because how was this even possible? So then I had to start thinking of why this was possible, because it was a whole new world that opened up. And I think also you don't normally realize what you're stepping into when you're starting to do something. So I wanted to go back to the kinesiologist, but for reasons unknown to me, she wasn't practicing anymore to help me, and that then pushed me, in retrospect, to try out different modalities. So that's how I started, how I heard about Reiki, and even a lady that did angel readings, which was quite impressive as well. And then that's also how I managed to rope Gerrit in, because I was telling him after I had the Reiki sessions, and obviously this was somebody I trusted, and I started feeling better. Gerrit had some issues that was bothering him, and I spoke to the person that did the Reiki and said, I've got this brother in South Africa. I wasn't here at that time. I was living in England. And how can we help him? And she said, oh, you can be a surrogate for him. I'm like, what?
That blew both our minds quite
completely. And then I think to be able to be a surrogate for somebody else in the other side of the world.
And yeah, but what happened was I could never stand with my back towards a crowd or a door or anything like that. And then we realized that in my previous life I was stabbed in the back, so therefore I've got a little bit of a tear in my aura at the back there, and I had to hold crystals. I think it was rose quartz back in the day, and it was cut so hot while I was doing this thing. I had to go literally hot. I couldn't put it down on my body anywhere, and I like, okay, this stuff is real. From that day onward, I never had to problem standing with my back to people again, and it was
profound,
quite life-changing.
Yeah.
And then I went to a kinesiologist because I was in a job that I really didn't like. I had so many emotional blockages, mental blockages. Went a few times to this kinesiologist, Margaret, in Johannesburg. And literally, I stepped into the flow of life. And within 3 weeks, I've got a new job, moved down from Johannesburg to Cape Town, and I sold my apartment as well. I was literally like, and how is this possible to get everything done within 3 weeks by just stepping into the flow of life? And that there I got with the kinesiologist, who literally just cleared all the emotional and mental blockages, and it was like it felt like a movie happening, because it was everything just happened so quickly. So therefore you can see that I don't want to say the magic is real, but the magic is real, people.
Exactly. As soon as you just get into the flow of things just start happening. Yes. It's like I went for Reiki.
Reiki master now.
Yes, I am. as you are. But yes, so I did my Reiki, and then got distracted by stuff in the world again. And then every time the universe just kind of pushes me back in that direction with all sorts of different ways. I ended up with QHHT, but Gerrit, over to you to how that happened.
It was with COVID and all the drama that came with it. I had restaurants. They kind of, especially South Africa, they closed restaurants for 5 months because the restaurants were spreading the virus. So I had lots of time on my hands because I couldn't do anything. And Carien said, why don't you just go and do a Reiki? Just try one. Just try it. Okay, so I went for a Reiki course, and I okay, I see where we're going with this. I feel you. I see you. I can see it happening. Because Reiki 1 is mostly about healing yourself and any family member that you can pin down to do the healing.
Pin down being the operative word.
So I was literally trying to who's got what can I help with? Yeah, loved it. Then I did my second Reiki course. I had an amazing session, met amazing people, I worked with quite a few still, and then discovered the amazing thing of distance healing. I remember the first time I did distance healing, I phoned you quite a few times. Am I doing this right? What am I doing? How can this work? And all you said is believe what you're doing is working. My father was the first person on it, which I did a session for. He was like, okay, we're doing this now. I said, yes, we are. Well, loved it. And then, with me getting out of my comfort zone and just getting out there, we met Gail. She was on my first and second and third Reiki, where she told us about QHHT, where we then discovered this amazing thing where you literally connect to your higher self, and your higher self answers questions that you have, which then led to Carien's new career.
Yes, and I've got to say, this time Gerrit tried it out the first time. And one of the questions I had was, what am I supposed to do? What will work for me to my own higher self? And it actually came down to that, doing something like QHHT for a living and getting involved with these energies would be my absolute passion. And yes, it is. QHHT and QSE, quantum shift exploration, and our vibrational distance energy healing. This is the stuff that really gets us excited, because you can actually see the difference it makes in people's lives. You can use it for so many different things, like physical stuff, emotional stuff, mental stuff, and people come out different on the other side.
Yeah, how this vibrational distance healing session started for me was my mum started going deaf. Myself,
and she lived on the other side of the mountain, so it's quite a drive. So it was, and you didn't have a bed at that stage, so it was just easier to do a distance healing.
Yeah, so we did distance healing, but back then we didn't realize that you need some time to integrate stuff. So myself and Carien did literally a session per day on her, and we alternated. And at one stage she said, please, she just, the energy is too strong. So what we did is, I started working out programs because I said, and she started hearing better, and she could hear. Previously she couldn't hear people in restaurant talk because the background noise was too hectic for her. Now she goes to, she sits at a table of 12 and she can hear what's going on around her. And so that flamed my passion for, if we can do this, what else can we do?
You remember, because you came and visited me, and then we ended up, I think we were playing around with crystals as well. And we also had a look at some of the stuff that Louise Hay said. And I think it was a crystal, something I saw.
Karma.
Yes, that we actually had to cut you loose for something with karma. And that's what we ended up doing. I think that's the very first time we started actually using what we knew in a very direct, specific way to kind of focus a session. Because I think that's actually how it all started, was that very first karma thing that we did here.
Karma was definitely, because karma is number 12 on our list. But yes, but that is where we really got focused on what's causing it, what do we need to take out. And we always have, once you take something out, you always have to put something back. So
there
let's
can never be a void. There should never be a void.
Never be a void. So this, but that is where we literally got really focused on what
do you want in there?
Exactly. And that was a big one, because we really got some focus there. And ever since then, it's like after number 12, it just became creating more and more stations.
Okay. What we realized when we engaged with the karma session is that there was aspects that we did not want anymore in our lives. And where we initially thought this is something you want to get rid of, we came into contact with Josiah from the reality creation process, who showed us, and Lee, Josiah and Lee, who showed us like a whole new different way of doing things. Because instead of trying to cut these things off and getting rid of them, you actually bring them back into yourself, you integrate them, and then you reprogram them.
Yeah, so that bring them back into love.
Yeah, you bring it back into love.
One of the big things before that was, we always why isn't it sticking? We did it, we created it. It will work perfectly for a month or so, and then why doesn't it keep on working? So then we started doing RCP, and we realized that it's all about not trying to get rid of it, not trying to kill it, but rewriting it back into love. So that, and once we got our brains around that concept, took me a while. I cannot tell a lie. It took a while to get my whole brain around the fact that we're not getting rid of anything. We are just rewriting back into love. That emotion or that angle of perception served us well, but now it can get out of the gladiator arena and come and sit in the arena and watch the show. The self-sabotage one is the one that always got me again, because you're trying to kill something. Your body, your whole being doesn't like to be killed unless your time is up. So then it fights back. Everything fights back.
Thanks for putting that in there, Carien.
So you're fighting back, and so you're not moving forward. But once we got the whole concept around it, okay, yes, we are rewriting it back into love, into your body. Your body embraces it. It doesn't need to fight that part of you anymore, because everything is love. The most powerful emotion in the world is love.
Yes.
So you rewrite it back into love, and off you go. And that was quite a big step for us as well.
And then it's just easier to go forward, because you don't need to go 3 back anymore. And I think that's an important thing that helped us with our sessions with creating it.
It just, each thing just led to another. And it was, it's been such an amazing journey so far.
I was going to say, we keep on staying excited, because we often also just discover different ways of making it even better and getting even more excited about what's the stuff we can do with it.
Exactly, because the possibilities are endless.